Hey guys, welcome back. Okay, right, so what we've done up until this point then is we've input essentially two samples, okay, and what we've input is one sample from each category that we're interested in. So we've input one sample of AM data and we've input one sample of PM data. And we collected all that data on the same day. Okay, now what I'm going to show you in this video is just how to tidy this up a little bit. Okay, and then show you some of the functions that we're going to need to use in order to pull out some of the relevant data that we're interested in for analysis later. Okay, now what I've done in this database, I've added more samples in again. Okay, so before we just put data in for the 22nd of the 10th. Okay, so if I scroll down, what I've now input is data for the 24th for AM and PM. Data for the 26th AM and PM, data for the 28th AM and PM, and data for the 30th AM and PM. Okay, and the reason that I did those dates, okay, because basically what that will then give me is 5 different days. Okay, so essentially what I've got is 5 samples of AM data and 5 samples of PM data. And that is the minimum that you guys are going to need to work to. Okay, if you get more, then fantastic. If you can get 6 days or 7 days or even 8 days, that's even better. Okay, but yeah, you do need a minimum of 5 days of data. Okay, right. So one of the things we do want to do before we move on, okay, is just kind of like I say, tidy this data up a little bit. So down here we've got our spreadsheet named as just sheet 1. So we could change that, for example. Okay, so we could right click on it and we could rename that. Okay, and we would call that raw data. All right. The other thing we want to do is tidy our proportion data up a little bit. Okay, because as you can see at the moment it's got lots and lots of decimal places and we don't want that. All right. Whenever we're presenting data for scientific research, you should always have your decimals to a maximum of 2 places. Okay, so if you highlight all of those and right click, we can go to Format Cells. Okay, and this will bring up this box. At the moment, it's categorized that cell as being general. Okay, so that could be a letter or a number. It doesn't really distinguish between them. But if we change that to number, okay, it then gives us this option of how many decimal places we want. And we only want 2 and it puts 2 as default. Okay, so we can just press OK. And now we've got our proportions to 2 decimal places. Okay, right. Now, what we want to do when it comes to analysis of this data later, all right, we are going to need to analyze each behavior separately for time of day. Okay, so as it is there, right, we couldn't plug all of that information into SPSS and tell it to perform some statistics for us. We need to pull out exactly what it is we want to analyze, all right? So what I recommend you guys do is create a separate spreadsheet, okay, for each behavior. So let's call this one down here S, okay, and this one over here, we can call that T. Right, and so forth and so on. All right, so you could make a new spreadsheet for each behavior, and then it keeps it all nice and consolidated, nice and tidy. Now, we can then pull the data for each individual behavior out of this database quite simply by applying a filter. Okay, so what you need to do is click on the very top cell, all right, so A1, and then go up to the task pane to data, select data, and then go over to filter. All right, now this puts a filter onto all of the data. Then what we can do is we can go to the behavior variable column and click on this little drop down thing here, and then we can select the specific behaviors that we want. Okay, so at this point we just want S. Okay, so you can deselect all, then just select S and press OK, and it will just give us the data for that specific behavior. All right, so now we can actually analyze whether there's a difference in morning and afternoon on that behavior. All right. So what we can basically do is just copy those cells there. All right. So you want to include the headings as well. So copy those. So Control C, and then paste them into our new spreadsheet. Okay. Sometimes when you paste stuff over, it doesn't paste over the correct cell type. If that's the case, then you just need to go back into Format Cells. Okay, and I still didn't like it there. Okay, there it is. Okay, just needed to pull that over. All right, so now basically what we've done is we have copied our raw data here and our proportion times just for that behavior into its own separate spreadsheet, ready for analysis later. Okay, and then we could do the same for the other behavior as well. So we could do the same for behavior T. So we just deselect S and select T, and then it will pull out all of the proportion and other raw data for that behavior. And then again, we can copy that data there. So Control C over into another spreadsheet. So Control V. Okay, and so forth and so on. We can do that for every behavior, and then our database is nice and tidy, ready for analysis. Okay, so if I press Escape now, that'll take off that function. And then what I need to do is just remove the filter. Okay, so you can select all again and press OK. That brings everything back. And then if I just go up to the top here where I pressed Filter before and press it again, it will remove it. Okay, right. That's all I'm going to go through with you guys today. Okay, once you're kind of comfortable with inputting data like that and organizing your data into different sheets, okay, for each behavior, we can then look at how to actually analyze this stuff statistically, which is what we will do next week.